What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Manga Madhouse, a channel where I, Darian, take you through my manga collection journey. On this channel, we talk everything from manga to anime to what manga I'm reading. We do manga reviews. We do it all if it's manga related. So if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And if you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video, in today's video, we're going to do our first Manga Monday, which I'm recording this on Monday, but you'll see it on Tuesday. The goal is this will actually start coming out on Monday, but I had a busy weekend, so I was not unable to record this past weekend. But I'm here. I'm able to record now, so this video will come out on Tuesday. But in this video, I would just like to kind of just catch you up on my manga reading journey, because I feel like as though there was a gap. You would see like the manga halls, you would see the manga reorganization, but you really wouldn't know like what am I doing in between? Am I actually reading? If I'm not reading, how much time do I actually have to read? All of these things. So I thought, what better way to kind of fix that than doing a video? So in today's video, we're going to talk about a few things. The first thing I want to talk about is Blue Giant. That is what I'm reading now. If you don't remember, it is on the first quarter TBR that I did at the beginning of the year, just talking about all the series I was going to read throughout the duration of the year, and I broke it up into quarters. And Blue Giant, so far, I'm on Omnibus 2, but that covers volumes 3 and 4. This is good stuff right here. I mean, what I really like about it is you follow this guy named Dai, or Day, I don't know. I say Dai, it's D-A-I, so I don't know. But I say Dai. And he wants to be essentially the greatest jazz musician of all time. Now, in these videos, I will probably give light spoilers, so be aware of that, but I'm not going to give like the whole plot away if I'm at that kind of point. We'll see. But yeah, just know whatever I talk about, you're subjected to spoilers of any kind. But anyway, yeah, Dai essentially just wants to be the greatest jazz musician of all time. And what I like about this manga so far is that you're able to see the ups and downs. Now, while to me the downs aren't like down enough, and granted I'm only like on chapter 26, the downs aren't down like too down. I'm okay with that. I think that you have enough of kind of, the roller coaster feel of it, to where it's enough to really get you through the story. Because if a story was like overly depressing, or if a story was overly happy, you probably end up losing interest. In this case, I don't think it's that, because Dai is a very introspective kind of guy, and really he just wants to make people happy, but through jazz. So what I really like, what the mangaka of this manga has done, Shinji Uzuka, Ishizuka. The mangaka has done a great job of just, to me, showing, because okay, the whole premise is Dai wants to expose everyone to jazz. He wants to show everyone jazz, and he thinks that that is what motivates people. That is what's gonna, like, I'm just here spreading the love of jazz. But in reality, I don't think he really understands what it's doing. His pursuing of jazz is what's really getting people to act a certain way about him, feel a certain way about him, is because of how just he approaches jazz in general. It allows them to look in their lives and be introspective to their own lives and say, what can I tackle in the way he's tackling jazz? Because I want to be as obsessed, healthily obsessed with something the way he is about jazz. Because it's one of those things where, if you watch a YouTube video, like for me, I always say I can watch YouTube videos almost about anything depending on the person, because the way they feel about it, it makes me feel that way, even though I don't even know what they're talking about. So that's kind of what you get with Dai, is that the way he approaches jazz, the way he talks about how he's going to be the greatest jazz musician of all time, the way he's chasing his dream makes you want to chase your own dreams. And I feel as though that's something we can all take away. And that's just in the first, like I said, 26 chapters. So I'm eager to see how the rest of the story goes. I mean, you're seeing different parts of you're seeing how he affects different people with his presence alone. And it's crazy because, like I said, he believes it's all jazz, but in reality, it's him. He's the one. He's the reason why people are feeling these ways, or why people are just getting these emotions that they're having. And it's not necessarily jazz itself. It's just how he's using jazz, how he embraces jazz. It's just him. And I think that's a good premise, and I really enjoy that for this story. Yeah, so if you have not checked out Blue Giant, I suggest you go ahead and check it out. It's a really, really good manga so far. Like I said, I'm only 26 chapters in, but I actually plan to really get a hold on that and try to finish it sooner rather than later, because technically it's only like 10 volumes. Next thing I want to talk about that I've been reading is Tokyo Ghoul. I mean, I'm to be honest, this is going to be a short section because Tokyo Ghoul, I'm not too far. I mean, as you see, this is volume one. I'm probably like what, a third of the way through. As of right now, it's just as much as the anime. So it's good to know that the anime held their own, at least in the first part. Like I said, this is really, really early, but I do know, as you saw in my last video, that the first season is well received. I've seen the first season. Oop, I hit the mic. I've seen the first season, so, and you all know that from my last video. So it's just good to see that the anime kind of stayed true to the manga so far, but it's so early. But the art in here is really good. I really enjoy just what I'm reading so far. It's super early, but this also was in my TBR for this quarter as well, so I thought maybe I'd get a head start on it. Only 14 volumes, so it's a good break to take when I'm not feeling like reading Blue Giant. And also, I read them in like different places. So Blue Giant is something that sits on my nightstand, while Tokyo Ghoul is something I'll read here while I'm in this room or working or something like that. If I get a little break, and I'll just walk over to the shelf and grab Tokyo Ghoul off and read it. So that's why it's not as far as I would necessarily want it to be as far as my reading, but I will amp it up because once again, I want to go ahead and I want to stay true to my TBR. So I will be delving more into that. So hopefully next week when I do this video, you'll have, more from me and more opinions on that. Also, what I'm reading is Chainsaw Man. Of course, I'm on chapter 155, so like the most recent chapter. And so this is where, once again, you could be subjected to spoilers, but I'll try really hard not to. In fact, I'm going to tell you, just don't watch it if you're not caught up with Chainsaw Man. But with Chainsaw Man chapter 155, it's really, really good. It's probably one of my favorite chapters so far since I've been caught up. I think I caught up around like 148, 147. Something like that is where I was caught up, and then I had to wait weekly or bi-weekly to read the next chapter. And I've read on Reddit that reading it week to week is a little tedious. Like it's like, not much is happening. But when you're binging it, it makes the story a lot better. And I mean, we've heard that about a lot of things, everything from manga to TV. I mean, that's nothing new. But it does make it, kind of rough when you're reading this. Oh, this doesn't feel like it's moving me. Well, this is the first chapter to me. This is the first chapter to me that I feel as though it really did something, and I'm really eager to see what happens in the next chapter, because up until this point, you've been seeing Denji kind of battle with, okay, do I want to be Chainsaw Man? Do I want to have a family? He was given the option, but he was feeling bad because he chose his family, but then he really, really wants to be Chainsaw Man. But as you know, reading the series, he doesn't have like typical human emotions because of the fact that of what's happened to him in the past. So he doesn't really understand that that's actually perfectly normal to want something that you may not can have, or may want something that it might not be the right time. Like the feelings, he feels really bad because he's like, this is what I've always wanted in family, and now I want to be Chainsaw Man almost over that. And that's just a regular feeling, but for someone like him, I don't feel like he understands that. And so it's good to see him kind of, well, not necessarily good, but it's a good thing for the story to kind of see him battle with that, because it's a very important part of the story, a very important part of making Denji who he is, and really an important part of making anybody who they are. I mean, we're always going to have crossroads essentially with a decision that needs to be made, whether you're going to go left or right. I mean, who knows? But there's plenty of times you're going to go left and maybe wish you would have went right, or maybe you wish you're glad you went left. And that's why I think he feels. He's glad that he chose, and I can't remember her name, but the reincarnation of Makima. He's glad that he chose to be with her as far as have a family. But at the same time, he definitely wished he was Chainsaw Man, because that's what made him feel alive. And it's okay that sometimes when you go through life and go through progressions, different things different things are going to make you feel things at different phases. I was trying to say different things are going to make you feel different things. I was trying not to say that, but it kind of ended up coming out that way. But as you go through life, there's certain things that's going to make you happy that didn't make you happy before. There's certain things that are going to make you upset that didn't make you upset before. It's just forever growing, and I feel like he's getting into that phase. And in this specific chapter, we see that the reincarnation of Makima, because I cannot remember her name, she is kind of realizing that she was Makima because she read Denji's mind. And that's why I'm eager to see, okay, now where are we going? Because the second part of Chainsaw Man kind of has been underwhelming to me, especially now that I'm caught up and reading it kind of week to week. Before I was already like, there's some stuff here, but it's not really going in the direction I really wanted it to go. But now it's like, okay, we can really get somewhere here. This might have been kind of what we were waiting for. So we'll see. But I'm really hyped for what's next. So I'm eager to reach chapter 156. Another thing I want to talk about is Wild Strawberry. Wild Strawberry is a manga I've been reading for a while now. I don't remember when it came out, but right now it's on chapter like 15, 16. And I took a little bit of break because I believe the mangaka, I think they took like two. They basically took breaks, and and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't care about them taking a break, but it was like they took a break, then they released a chapter, then they took another break, which is perfectly okay. It's just that like, oh, okay, I'll just wait to binge it kind of all together. So that's kind of what I'm in the process now. So I'm like on chapter 13, and it's getting good. It's gotten to a turning point where I wouldn't say this turning point was something out of left field, but I will say this turning point is something that could really do wonders for the manga, because there was early stages like chapter 3 and 4. I was like, I can see it, but I also can't see it at where are we going. But now we're really moving, and I think it's done a great job of just kind of really building this world and kind of telling this story. And the story itself is nothing that, once again, is out of left field. No one's ever heard of, or the premise of the story rather. But how they're approaching it, I feel like is a little different. The way they kind of have their world and tell this story is a little different. It's just different enough to where it keeps your attention. And also with the turning point that's kind of happened in chapter 13, it's like, wow, okay, we're really in for something, because this whole time, we thought it was one way, but now it's something that's this way. As of right now, I don't really know. It's in this weird space where Wild Strawberry could go either for a long time or it's going to be short. Like it has the way they told the story so far. It has kind of that leeway of you're not going to feel like, this is egging on. You're not going to feel that way. However, when manga, any type of medium does this and kind of gets to this point, they like to drag it out. And then that's what causes it to, kind of lose its luster. So I hope that doesn't happen here. But I do see the pathway where this could be a long series. However, once again, you got to know when the right cutoff spot is, and I'd rather it be too soon than too early. But we're only in chapter like 17 total, even though I'm on chapter 13. So plenty of time to go. But overall, I think it's a really good story. And so like the last two things I want to talk about is, one, this anime I'm watching. So I know it technically doesn't relate to what we do on this channel, but it will. So just hear me out. So I was watching this anime on Crunchyroll. It was called Tomodachi Game. You might have heard of it. I never heard of it up until this point. And I saw that it was a short series, only had 12 episodes. I was like, oh, okay, 12 episodes. And you know me, don't research anything when it comes to stuff like this, because I like the element of surprise. I don't like knowing too much, and I'm kind of like a rabbit hole type of person, so I'll ruin the story for myself. That's kind of why I rather accept the L, as far as, oh, I should have just took 10 seconds to research it, because it's part of the journey. Anyway, I watched like the first 4 episodes, thought it was pretty good, but then kind of fell off because life. So I really haven't been able to go back and watch. But in this past weekend, I was like, I have time. And yes, I probably should have recorded during that time, but I was watching the anime, and it was early in the morning, so didn't really feel like recording, wasn't recording ready, but I felt as though, I can watch this anime, knock it out. It's only, 8 more episodes. So I watched it all the way through. Great. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of Death Note E, as far as kind of like not physical, but the psychological thriller-esque stuff, like the chess matching within the chess match type thing. I really enjoy that kind of stuff. So of course, I thought it was really good. It has some parts where I was like, that doesn't really make sense, or it has some parts like, why are you doing this? But I feel like everything that has that. I wouldn't say it's a 10 out of 10, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I got caught up, of course. I watched the last episode, and first I was at episode 11, and I was like, they can wrap this up, but it might not be a way I like it. And sure enough, they ended up not wrapping it up, because it's an entire series. That's what I come to find out. Tomodachi Game, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the manga apparently is not even in physical. It's only like, it's physical in Japanese, French, and Spanish, I believe. And I am crazy enough to where I will, if the series was complete in one of those languages, which I don't think it is, I would have got it, but I didn't because it's not complete. I don't think in any of those languages. But the chapters are online, so I have been reading it there. And I'm on chapter like 27 out of, it's either 80 or 120. And maybe I should have looked that up, because there is a big difference. But it's from what I read on Reddit, it seems as though it's coming close to an end. So I want to go ahead and start reading it. So here I am picking up another manga that I probably shouldn't pick up because I have so much to read, but it's really good. I suggest you reading it, maybe the first couple of chapters. I personally have not read the first couple of chapters because I just wanted to know what happened next. So I went ahead and started reading from kind of from where I was at, which is, I think it was chapter 26, and I read that chapter. So now I'm at 27. So I can't really attest to how the manga is, but I really like the anime. So if that means anything, I suggest you check it out. Lastly, Bleach. I know that some of you, based on my last video, were like, "Hey, I think you'll like Bleach." No one was like, "Oh, you know, missing a point of Bleach or anything." They were just a lot of them, a lot of people agreed with my sentiments. Like, yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from, but I do feel like you give it another shot. With these words of encouragement, I feel like you'll thoroughly enjoy it. So I'm going to be checking that back out. I don't know when I'll do it. It'll probably be relatively soon. I plan on just checking it out, see how I like it. I'm really not leaning either way as far as should I do it manga, should I do it anime. I'm going to watch the anime just because it is something. It's a little easier, especially with so much I got to read now. But if it does get to a point where it's like, well, it's overwhelmingly people are saying, hey, I think you'll get more out of the manga, then I'll make room for it. I'll make a way. But I'm also reading Dune right now. I know that's not a manga, but the new movie's about to come out. And when I watched the old movie, I was like, I should probably read that book. Knowing at that time I did not read, but now that I do read, I got the book and I was like, oh, let me check this out. So I'm reading that as well. So lots to read. So I'm actually answering my own question. I think I'll probably end up watching Bleach the anime, but because something I can do while I work or something. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I know that they revamped it. That was or kind of like continued to tell the story, if I'm not mistaken. So that kind of piqued my interest. And weirdly enough, this is completely a random story. Weirdly enough, when we moved into this house, my wife and we had like the AT&T guy come, and he was essentially, I think I was wearing some anime related shirt, and he was like, "Oh, you watch anime?" And I was like, "Yeah, try not to." I always say yeah and play it off. Try not to like just overwhelm people because that's how I can get when I get excited. But no, it was the other way around. He was like, yeah, I really like Naruto, this, that, and the other. He was like, but if you haven't watched it, you need to check out Bleach. And so we had like an hour conversation about Bleach. So it's kind of been like up there in my head, like I really should check it out because that guy loved it. I mean, lots of other people love it. When I used to watch it, I could not really get into it. But at the time, I'm watching Naruto, I'm watching all these other things. So maybe things will be different. So I'm really eager and just extremely looking forward to watching it. I've seen the first couple of episodes a few times, but I think I was going into it like, I know I don't like this. Let me just see if I caught something different. This time, I'm actually going to sit there and watch it and pay all the attention I can to it to see, how far it goes. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you like these videos. If you want me to do, more of this, I will continue doing it. I just don't want to upload once a week anymore. I want to do more content. Also, I want to do content outside of book hauls and organizations and all that stuff. All that will still come. Like all of that you still will get those monthly book hauls, organizations when the time comes. You will still get all that content, but it's just like, what do I do in the between time? Because the book hauls are monthly, organizations maybe like every 3 months, things like that. Cleaning is like monthly. So all these things that I do with the channel as far as like my manga collection, it's not something that's weekly. So maybe these update videos can kind of help. And I'll think of some other content as well. I know people wanted manga shopping videos. I will try. It's not that it's hard. I'm just feel like what I do, manga shopping, is not unrealistic, but it's just boring because I just go to Barnes and Noble and get it there. And most time they don't have stuff. I mean, their manga collection is getting bigger and bigger, but it's still kind of most time I just do it online. So if you would like to see that, let me know and I could do that. I could take you through like my thinking process and my list of manga I want to read, all this and that, rate my cart, all kinds of stuff. I have great ideas. It's just more so I don't know how I'm gonna implement them, but I'll figure it out. But that's enough talking. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.